give
What?
myself. I'm a circus performer by trade and a fashion designer, so I wanted to give myself like an
Okay.
identity that
Wow.
went along with coding and that kind of thing. So my life efficiency system became the name. Um,
Wow.
my design teacher said Janet was taken. Like there was just too many skills for one person using the name Janet. So I had to come up with a different name.
Good, but you made my day. Like, I absolutely love circus. You mean the circus like with acrobats and this kind of
Yeah,
circus?
like acrobats.
Wow. But this takes so much planning because when people come to circus, they see all this beautiful stuff, but they don't understand, maybe they don't appreciate how much hard work went into it. So,
I think that's initially why I saw a correlation between the two. Like a lot of times people will say like, well, circus and code, well, how do those two go together? And I'm like, it's the same amount of work. Literally. You guys like we use the same amount of work, the same amount of determination, the same amount of like creativity goes into both. So if you're a
yeah.
great coder, you can be a decent circus performer.
Yeah,
And
so
thank you so much for like trying something new. This whole emulator thing, I didn't know that you could use an
I didn't
emulator
know
to
as well.
code
I just cannot
on
afford an
Twitter.
iPhone. I'm at the broke.
I went and bought a whole iPhone over this. Like
Yeah,
also
there's
because it was purple, but still.
yeah.
Now I'm like, I could have saved myself so much money.
Well, you can still do. Well, you deserve an iPhone. Okay, that's it. So iPhone is a great thing to have. So uh, I'm actually happy that you've got it. I'm trying to write a comment here somewhere. Yeah. So am I still audible? Hello. Let me see. I hope I'm audible. Oh, there's one request to speak. One. Let's see. Oh, Akshay. Let's see. Add as invite as co-host. Akshay. If that's okay, because actually I invited you as a co-host. Can you please accept? And I think you're already a speaker.
Oh yeah, I added him as a speaker just because
Yeah,
I
can
saw
you
he
add
was
him
like.
as a co-host as well? He's like a very good friend. Not like he's a very good friend. And he'll help you to manage. So he's like a Golang stuff. So Mikola is also a co-host there. Mikola, you can allow people to speak. So when somebody wants to
Mhm.
speak, just raise your hand, okay? Oh, and maybe you say something, Mikola, in Ukrainian,
Okay.
if you can.
Okay.
How they say good evening in Ukrainian?
Доброго вечора. Ми з
So,
України.
yeah, доброго вечера. So that's how it all started. My amazing friend Mikola, he created, well, we created it together. It's called OpenSource for Ukraine. I helped him to come with the idea, but he did it. So trying to help people in the situation they are, just to, I don't know, remain sane, whatever. Not whatever, like, there are so many different people, I cannot put one goal. So, yeah, so today's space is about, like, well, originally it was because Mikola came to me and said that, well, I've been speaking for so long, but still there's the main question is that how do we choose the right project? By the way, in the screen you can see that Duolingo has Ukrainian language course, and it's actually good. So try to catch up with me. I've actually completed it. Now I'm in the middle of those, exercises with a star. So if you catch me, if you finish it earlier than I do, then I'll send you stickers. Okay, so for the Ukrainian language, it's beautiful. Now, if you go to GitHub, so actually if you Google how many projects are on GitHub, so we will see that I think it's around 200 million last time, but I'm not sure how many. I think last time it was 200 million, but in 2020 it was 200 million repos. 2022, so now it's more. So Mikola, it was your question, so maybe you can tell what do you mean by like. Maybe you can even say what was the original question, because my memory is, it's all my autistic stuff. Mikola, can you shed some light?
Yeah. Just well, our community open source for Ukraine, like for people who want to start, actively work with open source and keep growing in this direction. So, but each activity is starting with first step, with beginning. So it's kind of one of the very beginning step is choosing the right project for you, not too complex, not too boring, right? So, and it depends on each individual person, depending on his experience, his tech, his language, whatever. So, but algorithm I think can be the same. So hopefully it will be useful for everyone who want to start, keep or return to open source. And that was an initial question. And actually, another point is how to make these discussions maybe more interesting for people who already experienced with open source. Maybe they can share their experience or their ideas or invite to their project to contribute to the project. So that's quickly speaking. That.
So that's like 1,000 different questions because anybody wants to. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, not sorry. It's good that you create so much content because my goal is not to preach. My goal is to help people, and people are different. I cannot go and tell everybody that I don't know eat Ukrainian cuisine all the time because it will kill you. It's so tasty, it will kill you. You cannot do it for all the time. So yeah, but so one thing to start with is get a mentor. If you go to ADP list, you can see it in my screen. In the comments, you can see link to YouTube. So I will share the link, which will give me some karma, but it actually means nothing. It's just a badge for me. They're not paying, so but you can join without the stuff. I won't buy it, but the thing is that 1 second, I really need more memory on this machine, which is good. I have it actually in my 16 gigabytes sitting there. They were waiting for it, but what I'm doing now, I'm adding the actually I should let me actually bring this thing so you can see what I'm doing, right? So if I go to emulator, so that's how to get a mentor. And this thing oh sorry, that's the wrong one. That was 1 second, this one, and that will be this thing. So that's to start with. Seriously, what's wrong with them? 1 second, there's some funny stuff going on. If I click this way, and yeah, so if can I copy here? No. Okay, so yeah, I don't know how to do it now. Oh, this way. This is funny. There's a bug. We just found a bug. So I'll just type it from what was there, which was this one, and we'll do it this way because I want some karma. But basically, the cool thing about ADP list is that first of all, it's org invite 93870. I think it's like this. Yeah, it's free. And second, if you check the quality, like I don't like speaking about people in terms of quality, but if you just check who is, and by the way, my co-host Mikola and Milos. Sorry, I'm autistic. Names it's hard.
Miles.
Miles.
Like Miles.
I'll ask you 20 times more, but I once forgot my own birthday. Okay, I remembered at like 8 o'clock, but it was okay. So Miles. So Miles and Mikola, and just check if somebody is like raising a hand. I think Bilal raised a hand. If you can give him a voice. Oh, he's already a speaker. Assalamu alaikum, Bilal. Bilal is an amazing friend. He's in Pakistan, and he's next to the border with Afghanistan. And it might sound like a cool stuff, but not when your electricity goes out, or your internet doesn't work, or your laptop. Like he literally had half of buttons on his laptop not working, and he was creating 60 days of DevOps series of streams on YouTube, and he did it. So some friends helped him with laptop, and like if you if you want to see how a leader is born, then take a look at Bilal. So yeah, coming back to Mykola's question. So first find a mentor, because if you go to here, right? So can you see my screen, by the way? Anybody watching YouTube? It will come. There's a small delay. When I get richer, I'll find better software. But there's somebody asking in open source for Ukraine in the Telegram channel how to join. So Mykola, can you maybe give them a link or a YouTube link or whatever? Can you do it? Just tell me. Now, so on ADP list, what you can do is to you want to, for example, database, right? And then you'll get mentors who are experienced in database, and you might go for CTOs, right? And basically,
I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, thank you. Дуже дякую за підтримку. За підтримку, sorry. Still, it's switching to Ukrainian is not that. It's a beautiful language, but it takes time, as any beautiful language. So you can see that people there, they're like creative directors, they're directors. They're like the other day, one of my mentees, she was trying this thing, and she had a very senior person from Meta guiding her. You'll be amazed how many extremely senior people are ready to lead. So ready to help for free. You can give them a coffee in the end, but they don't really need coffee. Okay, we all appreciate a free coffee, but it's not needed at all, like zero. So, for example, like Mikret from Africa Design School, like I'm sure, like if I want to learn for design, I'll just go to her. Just by looking at the dress, I can already see that the person knows about design more than I ever knew. So this is amazing. Actually, I should follow her. I like designers. They're amazing people. They make. Oh, I was already following her, was I? That's interesting. Oh, of course I was following her. Yeah, I'm sure we have friends from maybe She Codes Africa or something. Yeah. So regarding okay, let's go back to the question about the project. So, what is the right project? Choosing the right project, or what is the right project for you? It's actually the question is wrong, because the question normally what I do, I start asking why. So let's say, let's Mykola, do you want to be my like co-partner here? So let's do it with you. So we have a Mykola, a person from a gentleman from Kiev, Ukraine, and he wants to do open source. So my question will be, you want to do open source, but I'm not buying into it, Mykola. Really, because I can create a project for you. You can do it yourself, you're experienced developer. And the project will just go to GitHub, right? We'll create a dummy project here. We'll call it dummy, right? And we'll call dummy description.
Sorry for interruption. Before we forget, can you send a link to this mentors registry to our OSFU group?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm sorry. No, of course. I don't mind. It's of course. Yeah. This one. So yeah. So and it's on me. It's actually very good. I guess, for example, Mykola, if you decide, or Bilal, or Milos, if you decide to become a mentor there, which is a very good idea, because you will learn a lot as being a mentor. I'm not sure who will learn more, CTO who is mentoring you, or you, like, or if you are mentoring somebody, you learn so much. But you can say there, you can specify that, let's say you are ready to do 30 minutes per week. So people who want to be mentored by you, they won't be able to take more than that, so you won't burn out. But so open source. So open source technically, although I'm not part of the community which defines what open source is, but let's say for simplicity that open source is a license, right? License. One of them, there will be Apache, MIT, there's a lot of them. Yeah, this open source initiative thing, they defined, okay? So let's say we go to, we go to this dummy project, and we just create a file there, README file, and Mykola creates a service on AWS which will add one dot to this file 3 times a day. So now Mykola is open source contributor, and Mykola's this green bar in here, it will look absolutely green. Actually, I should do it actually for the sake of argument. I should do it one day. So this thing will be green because you are adding dots. What's the value for you, Mykola? So the question is, you want to do open source, so happens what? Tell me how, like, why do you want to do open source? Mykola? If anybody wants to speak, raise a hand. Or
Ooh, okay. I'll answer this one because I have a really good answer for this.
yes, go for it. Alice?
Why do I want to do open source? I want to do open source because I honestly believe that's the only way for innovation to happen. Like, open source is an opportunity for you to build a community. It's an opportunity for you to try something new. Without having to find like a job that does it, a company that specializes in it, or whatever. Like, there's no, like, it makes, like, it's, I'm sorry, I'm getting like really not flustered, but passionate. Like, when
Yeah, that's good. Passion
trying
is
to
good.
find my words. But like, open source is like, it's freedom. You know, like, nobody's gonna ever go to you and say, or not never, but the chances of somebody coming up to you and saying, oh my god, that thing that you're trying to do on open, like with your open source project, is completely stupid. You'll never get it funded. It'll never take off. Like, chances of that happening are super slim versus if you're trying to like do something as a startup. You know, like, open source, it's very low stakes. You can get people to join. You're more likely to find, like, to pull your project off versus trying to start as a startup. It gives you so much freedom. You can do whatever you want. You know,
Okay.
I think companies like trying to find a startup or try to start something as a startup, you're really bound by the idea of, can I get it funded? Can I find customers? Can I find, you know, people that would want to work with, like, that support this idea. Open source, you'll find that it's easier to start projects. It's easier to get things started. And that's just my experience.
It's not just your experience. It's the truth has been spoken.
That, but that's my reason for going to open source.
Let's do two things. First, I will become a devil's advocate. I will ask you questions. I will provoke you, Miles, if that's okay.
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll first show you my reason because of that, because of this one and this one. Or actually, it was Nigeria initially. So because I thought that there's a lot of people who don't have access to, and Nigeria is a developed country, right? There are countries like Gambia, for example, where the life is even more harder. I don't know much about Africa, okay? But I know that, especially in Central Africa.
I definitely think, like, I'm Nigerian American. I
Oh.
live in California. I
Wow.
think it honestly depends on, like, I would say it's a harder country to come up in than a lot of other countries. Like, if you're born poor, then you're kind of just stuck being poor. But I think in the same fact, like, you'll find Nigerians tend to be very enterprising. Like, they tend to be very
Yeah, that's true.
very, like, stick to it. Like, stick to it, you'll find an answer. I think that also suits people very well when it comes to open source.
So basically, to me, open source is that I cannot help this girl to get into MIT. Well, I can increase maybe chances by telling her that MIT exists if she doesn't know. She can send application, and maybe they will even. How many girls from Nigeria or from Kenya or from any other country in Africa and outside of Africa, for example, from Pakistan, how many kids can MIT take for free? Number will be limited, right? But let's say 100, maybe 1,000, but that's it. And population of Nigeria, how much is it? It's 200 million, right? Yeah, Nigeria population.
Something like that. Nigeria is like the second most populous country in Africa.
And the youngest as well, right?
Fourth.
And they're also the youngest
the
because,
youngest.
yes, which means half of population is very young, which is like, friends, if you want to do business, then take a look at Nigeria. They're hungry for knowledge.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean youngest as in, like, the population?
Yeah, percentage of population, which is like under 25.
Yes.
but
I think
basically,
that's what causes so much tension in Nigeria, and that's a lot of why you find a lot of coders in Nigeria. You find a lot of
mhm,
web developers. Is because the population is fairly young. Like the amount of 20-year-olds in like Nigerian 20-year-olds versus the amount of American 20-year-olds, definitely there's a lot more younger people. I think
yeah.
that's gonna do Nigeria well
Yeah,
in few years.
I'm just looking at pictures of Nigeria and Kiev because before all this shit started happening. So let's imagine there's a nice person from Nigeria, from let's say Lagos, and let's say Ukraine, let's say Kiev, for example. I haven't been to Ukraine, but one day I will have this privilege. And Mikola, it's on you
Yeah, it will be
to
great.
show me
It will be
around.
great. Yeah, sure,
So,
sure.
so let's imagine I'm just taking a picture, looking at picture of Kiev. Somewhere there is a person, and this person asks me how to get a good job, a job the person will love, and a job which will give money. Because just few days ago I was speaking to a lady from, well, she used to live in Ukraine for some time, and she said that she lived in this. She called it ghetto for rich people. So she said that inside you're like people who earn a lot live, but when you go to some other parts of Kiev, you see that not everybody is earning like 4 5k dollars. I'm not sure if that's true, Mikola, but I would assume that not all in Kiev, not all people in Kiev used to earn huge money. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It depends.
Yeah, so it's I mean, so let's say there's a boy from there who wants to do IT, really cool, but this boy cannot afford going to, let's say, uh, what is the best university in Ukraine, Nicola? Kiev Technical University.
It's a tough question. Maybe it will be depends on who you ask. Personally, I
Right.
finished technical university, so I think answer will be
Which
obvious.
one? Which one?
We have quite a few quite good
No,
universities. It's
which one
National
did you
University, National
finish?
Technical.
Oh, National Technical. So okay,
It's
so I have a friend from here. Oh, так, дякую. Нема за що. Нема за що. Yes. So if you go to Ukraine, so I personally have a friend in Poltava, for example, right? I helped him, well, not to commit a suicide, but that's a different story, before all this shit started happening. But so he's from a small village in Poltava, near Poltava somewhere. So, and he was privileged because his parents had money to send him to uni. Because in small villages, quality of education is different, so it's not very fair to expect, especially when there's corruption involved, which is not only in Ukraine but in many other countries, probably all of us. But sometimes it's like, let's say, what is this city? Hofta. So I would assume that a person from Hofta will have a tougher time getting into best university in Kiev, technical one, than a person who was born there and parents have money. So to this person, I will say, let's do that. Mikola, I will be using probably New Delhi or some other country, which is not in fight, because actually we can try. Actually, let's try with Ukraine. Why not? Like, for God's sake, I don't think I will be killed for it, and if I will, then I don't care. It's a good way to die. Ukraine. So we'll go to Ukraine and we'll check. I'm currently, what I'm doing, I've opened LinkedIn, because from what I understood from Miles and from what I kind of understood from Mikola is that, and that's my personal approach, is that the definition of right open source project, it's tricky. So we need to understand, like, is it, for example, if it is to have fun, it's one open source project. If it's to improve your skills in something, it's another open source project. If it's to get a job, it's third open source project. And these days, friends, because the economy is a piece of shit, I'm not cutting it out. I'm not sure if this space is getting recorded. Let me check. I think it is getting recorded. Yeah, there's a rec button. So it is getting recorded, and I'm saying in my full memory that economy is a piece of shit now. Okay, because if my friends in India, if in New Delhi, if they see a junior developer job which has been there for junior web developer job which has been there for 2 weeks, they might expect from 200 to 1,000 applications. Akshay, is it true?
Yes, you're speaking true,
Yes,
Nikita.
so in this kind of economy, friends, because before this shit started happening, before when we just had COVID, and people were complaining, I told them that, guys, let's not complain too much, because let's pray that in 1 year time we don't think of these times as blessed. And that's what's happening now, and that's why now I'm saying that let's hope that next year it's not worse. Anyway, I'm a pessimist. But if you go to GitHub NASA, for example, right? So a few years ago, when I started this stuff to help people to get like MIT quality of education for free, if you live, for example, in Kenya or Nigeria or Ukraine or wherever, Estonia, for example, almost nobody in the world can go to MIT because 8 billion people. MIT is a great place, but they cannot help. So did you know that, for example, if your friend's child is dreaming about rockets, but is not studying too well, then you can take this child and you can say that, look, NASA is open source, and what it means for you is that there is this flight control thing. Let's control, I think it's called, this one. I'll put the link there. And flight control is this stuff. It's used by NASA, as I understand. And it's open source, you can modify it, and you can start working for NASA. But in current times, I won't really recommend it because people need to eat something, and I cannot feed you with NASA, okay? With all respect to NASA. So what I'm doing now, I'm telling that, for example, Mikola comes to me and says that, you see, I have a cousin, and he's a talented boy, but he's lost. And like, what to do? Especially now, for example, when the infrastructure is in a bad shape and stuff, schools everything is struggling. So we can go to Ukraine, we can search for developer. Okay. So what I'm doing now, I have the screen open in LinkedIn, job search. I have Ukraine and I have developer. So now I will choose the very best. You see, oh my God, there's software engineer in Kiev and there are 18 applicants. One day all stuff. So people are kicking. People are not like, well done, friends. I wish I had that much energy. But basically what I will do, I will check the best position in Kiev, and then I will not apply there probably. Let's imagine this one. Let me see. This one doesn't tell me much because it's not specific enough. But I will choose something like expert. So, Mikola, we are currently answering a question like how to get a job which gives you money so you can feed your kids you can buy some milk. Because I would assume that a lot of people, we know that a lot of people don't have money now and they need to buy food. So, and when you buy food, you spend it in the shop, and then the shop owner can spend money further, and so on and so on. So, for example, let's look. There's a position available in Ukraine right now, 2 weeks ago, by Cyclum, I'm not sure, 13 applicants only. It's called Expert Python Developer. That's exactly what we need. Now what we'll do with our open source stuff, we'll take a look at the requirements. And I recommend it for juniors to do it. I will explain why. Because you need, as a junior, especially if you are from underserviced group of people, it can be in any country in the world. I would assume that, we also BLM going for the right thing. So these things don't happen if everything is okay in the country. All right, the things don't happen if any boy or any girl from, let's say, Brooklyn. I only know states from movies, so friends from states, please don't be angry with me. I know that there's New York and Brooklyn and San Francisco, and that's it, and Chicago. So basically, if somebody from Brooklyn comes to me and says that, Nikita, I want to get a good job in IT, I will say that the only edge we have over MIT, or somebody who has rich parents and is learning at MIT, is that is your passion to learn or passion for something and focus. So we'll need to crazy focus, because when you'll be applying to a job, there will be CV of our friend from MIT, amazing person, everything is fine, it's good to learn, and IT needs people. And this person will have MIT, and then will have math A+, and will have physics A+, and stuff like that. And they will have you or me, like, or somebody like who's like born somewhere and no formal education, or maybe how do you call it, public school. So what I want to happen, I want us to focus on positions like this expert Python developer. So we find open source projects. Now we're getting closer. So we find open source projects which matter, and we start contributing to them. And then we'll slowly shift our focus as we know more, because I can guarantee you that the first open source project you choose will be the wrong one for you. But I can also tell you that the most important is to start moving. For example, because when you start moving, you meet people like Imani, you meet people like, I know your smile, Sean Charles. So you follow them both, Imani and Sean Charles, and actually follow everybody, like really. These people who came to the space, they care, and you cannot ask for more than that. That's the only thing I ask from people, that you need to care about something, then I help. Anyway, going back to this one. So let's see requirements, and now let's see desirable. So there's a typo, by the way. You can tell them that there's a typo. Jenkins, GitLab continuous integration, and Azure and Elasticsearch. All of them are open source, more or less. So now my question will be that, just for the interest of time, I will slightly cut it. But normally, what I will do, I will find few more jobs like this one, like expert Python developer, and I will build a triangulation, right? I will see which skills all of them need. And let's say it's Elasticsearch for the sake of argument. So now you have your project. Now it's more interesting than that, because now we need to also, by the way, the company itself, they might have open source, but is it the right question, for example, for Mykola's cousin to contribute? Well, yes and no, because what if, so they might hire your cousin Mykola, right? Because let's say your cousin starts contributing to NASA or Microsoft account, right? To some Microsoft internal project, and now Microsoft notices your cousin and hires them. It happens. But what if they don't? What will I tell to your cousin? What will I tell to his parents? How will I look into their eyes? Their child just spent like 2 years doing this stuff, or half a year, and the result is that, well, cousin became a better developer, but that's it. And by the way, it's not only about developers. It goes the same for technical writers, DevRels, anything. But so I'm trying to choose something which is needed not only by, let's say, Cyclone. I'm not sure how to pronounce them, Cyclone. So Elasticsearch, I know it's used by many companies, okay? So if you go to Elasticsearch, GitHub, now it's interesting. And now, it's why open source is beautiful is that there are so many ways to benefit from it. You don't have to be a developer. So now you have enough for your first contribution. Just knowing that it exists and just knowing that there is this job position, I will put this one in the chat if it works for me. This thing is not designed for, I'm not sure how to do it. 1 second. So that will be, sorry, my copy paste doesn't work. Not with this emulator thing. I think there's a problem with buffer somehow. But anyway, so in my screen you can see that we have this Elastic thing, and now we can do two things. We can do Elasticsearch, and let's search for the Elasticsearch jobs in Ukraine. 79. That's good enough. That's good enough. Obviously, you need to do better research. Yeah.
Sorry for.
No need. Sorry. Yeah.
I was listening to you in YouTube channel and kind of like switching between and a small delay. So I'm sorry if I'm not the correct. You were talking about sending a link, and I can ask, if you don't mind, can I ask about a favor to send all links to OSFU groups as well?
Oh yeah, actually I can only send to OSFU at the moment because there's some piece of stuff happening with. Actually, we have this project there, right, on Nikita Kozlov, which is this dummy thing, right? Let's use it. We have this repository. It's called dummy. It will change. So here we go and we press the dot, and when you press the dot, it creates an editor, right? So I will just make it open source, Mikola, if that's okay. So I will do readme.md there. Was it like this? Yeah, whatever, doesn't really matter. Sorry. So we'll try to create a file here somehow. New file. Readme.md, is it? Create new file. Let me see dev. Let me see. Oh, what is Calypso doing there? Let me see. OS for you. I will actually rename it soon. From dummy it will become OSFU, but for now it will become bdummy. So I'll start links here. So that's developer in Ukraine, LinkedIn in job search. So if somebody can share my account on GitHub is the same as my Twitter handle. So whoever wants, you can go now to the you can go now to my open repository from GitHub to my account there. Okay, for the sake of argument, I will actually put it all into the Telegram, I think, just to save time. So it's this one, because I'm not very used to this tool, Mikola. Oh, actually, we can do it this way. I know. One second. I'm just not using Visual Studio most of the time. I'm using IntelliJ because I have a free license. So if we go to my GitHub dummy, GitHub Nikita Koslov, and we go to dummy thing, then we'll make it open source. We'll make the whole stream open source. I'll just, to be honest, I will rename it. I don't like name dummy. I will rename it into OSFU. Okay, open source for Ukraine. Plus and developed. Okay. So there's open source for Ukraine and the world thing. So now I will go to IntelliJ and I will just check it out, and if it works, then it will be so much easier, hopefully. Come on. Oh, sorry, memory. I might not have enough memory. We'll see. So file close. Sorry, that's my Golang studies. And then there will be this stuff. I want a new project. Oh, get from version control system. This one. Clone. Thank you very much. Oh, okay, now I can create something. Thank you very much. That will be... I don't remember, is it readme? I think readme is capital normally, and readme. I'm the only person who is in caps lock in the whole world. So that's okay. So that's we don't need. So and that thing W. Oh, sorry. There's a Windows V key. If somebody doesn't know, Windows V allows you on Windows machines to choose one from the stack. If there's a number of them, I will just put all the links I have now, and then later we'll sort them out, if that's okay. And actually we can use this project for like other things later as well. That's nicer. That's I'm just copying everything. That's and that's ADP list. Okay, ADP list. Okay, now we can commit it. And by the way, the co-hosts, can you please keep checking that if somebody wants to speak, that the person gets a chance to speak. Readme. Come on. Has been added. Commit and push. Okay. So now, if we take a look, hopefully, I cannot guarantee, but hopefully, our project has, yeah. So Mikola, the links are here. If you open source for Ukraine and the world project, has the links now. And as I go, I will be adding them there. Or you can raise a pull request if you want. Yeah, it will be easier for me, right? So now, coming back to this thing. So for the sake of argument, let's assume that I checked Elasticsearch. Now let's check Jenkins, actually. Actually, let's not do this sake of argument thing. Let's do the real stuff. Like, come on, we just all together. By the way, everybody who is in this space now, and you are all open source contributors now. Because if you didn't come, this project wouldn't be created. So I don't care if
Perfect.
you can...
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome. How do you say you're welcome in Ukrainian? I forgot.
Будь ласка.
Будь ласка, yes. Отворяйте дверь, будь ласка, or something like that. Yeah, so...
I feel so productive. Like, I showed up to this space and now I'm a contributor. Such a productive way to start my day.
Yeah, and by the way, I have your next task for you. Can you go to ADP list and find a mentor? I can actually give you a mentor, actually. Later, her name is Yasa. And she's amazing. She likes, well, she's amazing. She's like you, but like a sister.
You know what? I'll take it. Because I was just telling somebody, like,
it's this person.
I started an open source project, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I think a little more guidance in my life would be great. So I'll take the mentor.
Yeah, so Yaroslavna Nishinsky, she's amazing. And basically, I'm her mentor. So... So Yaroslavna Nishinsky, she's cool, and she helps people to come to hackathons. And let's say if you and her team on hackathon, she will bring you to she will show you that you're more amazing than you think. For example, she will use your experience to build something beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, back to this stuff. So
yes, let's do it. I'm up for it.
Yeah, and she has good friends. And so let's do it. She's so I would say half a year, and you'll be creating your own hackathon teams. And I'm being careful with timings here, like really. You don't need to be the best coder in the world. There's a huge demand for people who can organize hackathon teams so it doesn't fall apart, and that people stay focused and optimistic, and they choose stuff which matters. For example, Yaroslavna. She got 4th place in, we were together there. We got fourth place. There was a project to help with homelessness, to help homeless people in States. And because she worked, she's been to UK like 8 times, and she always worked in charity. So she had connections. So we called, and that's actually how you find the project, we call. So there's a need to help homeless people. And because she helped homeless people in the UK so much, we just had a call from her friend who is project manager, like a very high in some charity organization in UK, and she was on vacation, but we still had a call, and we were like, okay, what matters most for homeless people? What hurts most these days? And she runs soup kitchens, and she says that the one of the worst experience in life you can have is when you are running a soup kitchen and you run out of soup, and people come and they say that, look, I've been walking I walked 10 miles to have this soup. And, or 6 miles, which is like 10 kilometers. So, and there's no soup. So, talking to her, we came with the idea of creating an app, which shows people that is there some soup left or is there no soup? Something like this. And by the way, for example, there's a lot of hackathons. For example, there's a major, there's a tons. I think there's this link. Let me actually put it to. There's a lot of hackathons. Of course, with this weird state of the world, you need to be checking if you're like eligible, but still apply. What do you need to do to know for that to apply to come? Nothing, because hackathons. Because unless this is like in-person hackathon, which has you to be present somewhere in, I don't know, Washington, for the sake of argument. Hackathons, links edit. Okay. I will just keep adding the links to the project. You can fork it. I don't mind. You can add more link. We'll add them together. Graham, I see you, mate. Graham, the developer. I see. So, for example, if Graham has more ideas on how to help people who raise questions in the space, you can fork my project, which is called. Oh my God! It's actually a bit hard to find it. I get. You know what? I don't know if. So I know it's more than just that we have people from different countries here, but my friend Mikola is here, so for today it will definitely be OSFU, Open Source for Ukraine. Okay, Mikola, I hope you don't mind. So if friends, if you know any links, then just add them as pull requests.
Hey, hello.
Hi, Sujay.
Hey, sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
But your voice was not clear enough.
Is it
I
now?
was
Is
not
it better
able
now?
to hear you.
Oh, is it okay now?
No, still hazy.
Mikola, Miles, Bilal, is my voice okay now? Or do I need to restart?
It's a little fuzzy, but I can figure out what you're saying, but I can hear that it is a little fuzzy.
Oh, let me see, what can I do? How can I? Okay, adjust settings, and one day Elon Musk will make his stuff work. I really don't know how to fix it. Oh, I'll just put it on the screen as I'm trying to fix this stuff. If anybody knows how to, so this is increase volume. There must be settings somewhere. In the worst case, I will join from my phone. Graphics, no. Preferences, no. Phone, not really. Advanced. I don't know where the sound is in this blue something up. What is it called? Anybody
I think
knows?
it might be your reception, not the volume, but your phone reception.
Oh, that's a broadband. That's British broadband. There's nothing I can do there, like actually. If it becomes unbearable, that let me know. Yeah. So I will think what I can do about it. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if it will help. I majorly listening the session from YouTube, and YouTube quality is much better. To be honest, I don't know if everyone is
okay.
if it works for everyone to switch to YouTube. Just like a kind of life hack.
Yeah. So probably, friends, if you're not speaking, then you're welcome to switch to YouTube and listen from there. Then it means it's Twitter, and there's they fight so many people. So that's kind of what you expect to happen. Still, I'm trying to find the properties in this application which will allow me to control the sound. Advanced graphics devices. Oh, I found it. Okay, maybe now it will be better. I'm not sure. Is it better now for those on Twitter?
I don't know. You have to talk a little bit.
Okay, because yeah, I made it use my main microphone. It might have been using. If it's not a connection issue, then it is an issue with device. And sometimes it might be choosing like a wrong mic. Might be choosing mic from my headphones, not the big thing in front of me.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not any better.
Yeah, so then it's connection or Twitter or emulator. So not much I can do. I can probably log in from my phone. Let me think. Let me think. How do I do it? I have one idea. Just give me a minute, okay? I will bring my headphones. I will log in from my phone with another set of headphones because and it might work. It might not. I'm not sure. Can I log into the space from the phone? We'll see. Give me a minute, okay?
All right, we'll give you a second. And I guess we'll figure out something else to talk about, open source related. But before we do that, I just want to say, Bilal, I've been watching your content on Twitter, and it's pretty fire. Just want to give you a shout out because I love your content, and I can tell like from your Twitter that you work really hard on it. But anyway, so the reason I came to this particular space today was I saw the title, and for me, I didn't really have a choice for open source to be the right project or not. I just started a project. So, in trying to figure out, like, in starting my own open source project, I wanted to hear what somebody else had to say about how to choose the right project so that I can take that into mind when I create the right project. Um, so, yeah, that's my reason for being here. I guess, does anybody have any questions? Because we haven't heard very many questions.
I'm back.
While we're waiting, I just want to give people space to ask questions.
I believe Bilal was
Oh.
raising a hand. I don't know if I pronounced right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you hear
Bilal,
me?
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So thank you, Nikita. Thank you, Milos, Mikola, and all the people that have joined this Twitter space. And basically, first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you and the support that you are providing me and all the videos that you are watching and praising and getting values from this. So it really means a lot to me, first of all. And the question is that how you can choose a right project, right, for open source.
Right.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
right. So when I was starting, basically I started yesterday, if I tell you the truth. And when I was trying to start the open source, before that I was involved in the 60 days DevOps challenge. But I had similar questions that you have, like what project to choose and what are the things to keep in the project, to take a look in the project, and what are the things that are required for the project to be involved in. So I watched a lot of videos and read a lot of documentations, etc., and read a lot of blogs. So the thing that I found that the project should be inclusive. This is the first thing that you need to keep in mind. And I found this myself, that whether the project is big, whether the project is small, this project should be inclusive. If it is not inclusive, if it is not supporting you, if the channels or the Slack channels, what you can see, or the Discord server, these are all the things that matters a lot in a project. So if they are not responsive, then it's better to leave that project and move to another one. And many students face a lot this problem also, that whether I should start with big project or the small project. So this was also a question in my mind, that whether should I jump into the big project like Kubernetes or Docker or another big project also, or the small project like the project that is started few months ago. So I was watching a Kunal Kushwaha videos, and he said that you should join the big projects because the big projects also has some good first issues. And if you found those issues, you can easily solve those issues, and you will be recognized in that big project, and you will make a name in that. So I'm not saying that you should just for the naming purpose, you should add a PR into the project and say that, hey, I have made a contribution into the Kubernetes, and you attach that Kubernetes logo or the name into your profile. So the purpose for joining that project is that the community should be the supportive. If it is not supportive, if the community is not supportive, then it's better to leave the project, even if the project is big or famous. So just leave it, because they are not supporting you. And yesterday I found an issue, and basically it was a new thing to me, and it was my first time. And if I show you, basically it was from a person, and he made a project related to Kubernetes. That project name was what you can say, K8's Image Swapper. And he filed an issue about that, and about 3 weeks ago, and nobody was responding to him. So I thought that I should respond to him and solve the problem if I can help. And after that, he was demanding a Slack channel for his project in the Kubernetes repo. So I was new to it. I was not aware of this. So after that, I decided that I should help, and I sent him a message that whether I should be allowed to help you. And he said that you can help it if you want to. And after that, I searched a lot. I read a lot of blogs, and I spent a day by reading blogs and the information that how you can create a new Slack channel for in the Kubernetes workspace if you want to. And after that, I went to the Slack channel directly, and I asked a lot of questions there that how you can create a Slack channel in the Kubernetes workspace. And the people who were present in the Kubernetes workspace were really helpful, and they gave me the resources and they provided me all the things that are relevant to the project. So it means that they were supportive, and I was able to further go into that project. So that was my point, and they helped me. After that, when what I did is that I read the documentation, and a person asked me that you should whether you should have a permission or not. Do you have a permission or not in the project as a maintainer? So I answered him that I don't have a permission as a maintainer, or this project is not mine. Basically, just a person from another project is demanding to have a Slack channel. So he denied that you cannot contribute to this, you cannot raise a PR to this project, to this issue. Why? Because you are not a maintainer of this project. So, but I learned from these things, and they guided me, and they gave me some kind of documentations, and I read from them. So this was my motivation, and this was the thing that I want you to focus on, be more on the inclusiveness and the community and the support that they will provide you, instead of just attaching the name, a big name in your profile that I have contributed to Kubernetes or Docker. So these things are doesn't matter. If you are if they are providing the value, if they are supporting you, then it's better to go on. Yeah.
Thank you for great points. And may a little bit extend your last point. In my understanding, it's not only about getting help, but it's open source. It's not only about coding. It may be even more about communication. So it's not about asking help. It's about providing help. It's about communicating, finding a solution, brainstorming, programming, stuff like this. It's my opinion.
Yes. So
Let me know if you agree.
sorry, it looks my second option doesn't work.
Yeah, you are right. So I was not contributing as a coder in the first when the first issue was raised. Instead, I was just trying to help and create a Slack channel for a person. So this was not related to coding, and often people face that when start just now, let's start do it and find the issues and raise a PR. If the PR is rejected, then what will happen? Nothing. You can raise another PR also. So this is the confusion, and maybe many students face this problem. I was also facing this problem. So it doesn't matter. You should do it just today, just now, and or find an issue. And if you know that it's beginner friendly and what you can say, then you can contribute into it and raise a PR about this. And the motivation for the open source is my motivation for the open source is the community, because I found a lot of positive things in the community. And before that, I was the victim of depression. So I found this community, and I'm really thankful to them. And that's what my motivation that I started open source. So yeah.
Great. Thank you for great.
This is beautiful.
Yeah. A couple of words, Nikita. I don't know if you want a quick idea. Maybe it can be idea of next or one of next talks. Like what are reasons to participate in open source? I already find a few during our discussion, and maybe we could just systemize them, create kind of page with list of topics. With to talk more about it. Maybe people could share their experience, their expectations. But it's a big topic, not
Twitter's. As we speak, I'm creating a file called Twitter-spaces md, and then we'll just all happened and upcoming. So what do you say it was? What was the talk idea? Oh, sorry, open space.
To have a talk which will discuss like types of activities, like type of reasons why we need open source. For example, one of type of just for fun, then to get a job, then to be better in some technology, then another reason
It's
just
amazing.
I found out from Bilal's talk, it maybe you are not want to contribute at all, maybe you have idea, maybe you have using some tool, for example, like Spring or Micronaut, and you doing
Yes,
something really complex,
this
and
is
you
good,
get
this is
stuck
good.
with some problems, and we want to
Yeah.
solve them in elegant way, not like a
So,
stupid workaround, but really in good
well,
right way.
it's
So
stupid.
if you, it's another reason to know open source. I don't want to continue in sake of saving time, but it's I hope I gave an idea.
We have all
So I
time
think
to develop, but
I think it deserves a separate talk. I don't know what
yeah,
you
yeah,
think.
yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm trying to find a way to commit the files in IntelliJ. So two things there. So Bilal, so sorry friends for the mic. Next time I will prepare better. So next time it will be oh my god, it will be more complicated, but I'll try. Anyway, so I just added a file called Twitter Spaces MD to the project, which is OSFU. On my GitHub repository. So if you go to Nikita Kosolev on GitHub and Open Source for Ukraine project, then actually till there's peace, it will be Open Source for Ukraine. Fuck it. Twitter Spaces. So you can put any ideas there. Okay, so that's okay. And now regarding what Bilal was saying, it's actually Bilal. We're thinking like sometimes I believe in telepathy. In a way, because just today when I was going to a shop to buy my girlfriend something nice, to food for both of us, I was like listening to a book just started called "The Hidden Factor: Why Thinking Differently is Your Greatest Asset," and it's a good one. It's from the series called "The Greatest Courses," which is basically courses from American universities, the very best. And what was told there, I just started, but what was told there, that as systems grow, then at some point your further growth starts slowing you down and diminishing your quality. And this is the point when you should start adding diversity. Because this is the point when having one more engineer, well, it's not exactly what they were saying. I think diversity from the very beginning is good. But basically the idea is that your value as an individual is not to bring the same opinion as everybody else's. Your value as individual might be to bring opinion which nobody thought about. It doesn't have to be something complicated, but for the sake of argument, actually actually, which languages do you speak? Do you speak Hindi or Tamil, if I'm asked, or Urdu? Oh, we got Akshay unprepared. Anybody else? Debashish? Which languages do you speak?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, everyone. Hello.
Hi, which do you speak Hindi or Tamil or something?
I want to tell you that like I have started my open source journey this October 1st.
Okay.
So before that, I was already trying to like how open source work, how it is working, like how should I check any projects and anything. Like whenever I see any video or something, they always like to say that like you have to just get involved in the open source projects. Like there is not a way like you cannot. There is not a particular way. You just have to get involved, have the conversation with the community members, and that is the key.
Yeah, that's true. So my question was slightly on more on diversity. So I work with my friends from India a lot, and they told me that in Hindi there's more than one alphabet. Okay, so now imagine that me and Mikola were creating an app to be used in India, and an app is in Hindi, and we are cool developers. We use some artificial intelligence to translate, so no grammatical errors. The only thing we forget is that the app is using typing, and for typing we need keyboards, and Hindi has different alphabets. So because we didn't have a single person who knows Hindi, like really knows, might be junior, might be expert in Java, I don't know, But because we didn't have this diverse person, we just killed our project. Let's say I'm creating an application for sports, and some idiot didn't accept Miles in our project. Oh, well, if I find this idiot, then it will be an interesting talk. But so we don't have Miles in our project, and we are creating application for sports. I know nothing about sports. Maybe Mikola does some, but especially if it's to do with circuses, then our project is doomed. We don't have an expert. So that's why you need diverse people. And there's the whole course on it. It's like, I don't know, 12 hours. I recommend it. And by the way, you can join Audible for the first time, and you can get one book for free. And then just don't forget to cancel a subscription, and you can get this one. It's on OSFU. So yeah, coming back to the projects. So we're still thinking about cousin, or we call us cousin from Kiev, okay, or from Poltava.
So sorry for interruption. Sorry for being a little bit boring. Can you add this name of this book and maybe link
it's already done.
Where we can get it from? Links to this resources.
It's already done. Have you found the? Oh, actually, what I will do, I will take a link to the project OSFU, and I will put it in the chat. The OSS project with all the links, and I've just put it into Telegram, Mikola. So now people can modify it and add links. There are two files. One is README, and one is future talks proposals. Okay, so all the links will be here. This way it will store. So if somebody hacks our channel, they will have to hack this one as well. So yeah. So speaking about our cousin from Poltava, so we were like, okay, so we need to get the focus for this person. So it's Elasticsearch, or maybe it's Jenkins. Let's see. How do we see? So we just go to the market, because this person needs a job. Because if a guy from Poltava gets a job, or a girl, this person can buy milk and pay it for the local farmers, so they can buy some fuel, so they can make a generator running, and if generator runs, their kids can read books and learn something, or maybe just have fun, which is also cool. So we go to the same job search, and we do the Jenkins, we do the Elasticsearch, and we do the I know it's a bit crude, okay? So it's like, but it's just an idea, and we do LinkedIn, and we do Azure, okay? And we go to jobs, and then we check the results, because basically my idea is that when we need to focus on the absolute value for us. So the value for this cousin is to get a job, and I need to see what is the demand for this technology as an open source contributor. So for example, if person is contributing to Elastic, then positions which mention Elastic, they will need this person very much. But if person is contributing to Azure, which is huge, then there's no like such a high guarantee that they will need this person, although they will be very interested. So we can see that positions which mention Elastic, there's 79 in Ukraine, Azure 193, and Jenkins 140. Jenkins is a very good place to start, actually. So to get a job, it's Elastic, but to start moving, it's Jenkins. Why? Because of that. If you go to the Jenkins website, I'll go to that's the right page, but I'll go, by the way, nice picture. Stop the fucking war. So in the bottom of Jenkins main page, you will have contributing here. And that's something which will interest many of us, starting from Miles and actually ending with anybody. Because what Jenkins has, Jenkins is a build system, for those who don't know, many don't. It packs your projects together and does whatever you tell it to do. It can create zip files, it can deploy to the service, whatever you tell it. It's like your friend who does stuff. Jenkins, how to participate in open. So if the goal is to make this person moving, then Jenkins is an extremely good project to do. Jenkins edit. Jenkins edit, commit and push. Okay. Is it pushing? Yeah, it's pushing. Because, for example, Miles, she's obviously talented, and I don't know, what's your passion now, Miles? How do you want to start? Like, we didn't talk much about you actually. So, what would be your ideal job in like 5 years' time in IT? What will be your absolute
my
ideal
ideal
job?
job in 5 years' time.
Mhm.
I would like to be a creative director.
Good. So, let me see. Yeah.
Yeah, something that's like creative director meets
So, you want to be Angie Jones.
CEO, or creative director meets technologist, something like that.
Do you know Angie Jones? No? Come on, this is the
Do I
most.
know Angie Jones? Yes.
Oh
I do
yeah,
know
phew,
Angie.
phew, we're still friends then. Angie is just like, I love everything she does. She's like, Angie Jones is the reason why here on YouTube, if you go on YouTube, if I go on YouTube, it will have this premium thing there. That's because of Angie Jones. Because I couldn't find time to like listen to Angie Jones. I really wanted to listen for a few pieces, actually for all of them, and I could only listen while I'm riding my car. But blessed YouTube doesn't like run it if your screen has navigation up. So I just paid it. I'm very tight with money, but I paid just to listen to Angie Jones, and that's all you need to know. Just go and subscribe. Everything. Oh, let me. Angie Jones. I will add the link. Okay. Best mentor ever. She's like indirect mentor, but mentor, champion leader ever. So I'm not really comparing leaders because, for example, Trisha Gee is also amazing, and there's a lot of people. But Angie Jones rocks. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, so it's just as an inspiration for everybody. She's amazing. So creative director. So okay. So actually, it's not me who will be teaching you, right? It's if you go to ADP list and you just type there creative director, and let's see how many are there. all these directors, they are ready to mentor you, Miles. How can anybody compete with you if your mentor is creative director? They cannot compete. MIT will not help them. With all respect to MIT. So I'll just put ADP list. I'll just add it to the project. Mentors, creative director, the mentors. I'm just adding it to the file at ADP list. Okay. How do I do it? Yeah. So we'll do that, and we'll creative director mentors have been added. Commit and push. Okay. Push. So yeah. So that's where you should start. Not from me, Miles, but from somebody who already did it, because there will be. You can become a person who, by example, you can show how somebody using open source or not using open source from where you are, because where you are, it's like where thousands or tens of thousands of girls are in states and around the world. And it's not you who wants to become this director or the one to become like to use your creative skills in a different way. It's a lot of people, and for them you are a champion. For me as well, but what it matters for them. So if you find a way how to do it, not if, as you will be finding the way how you become this person, maybe open source way, as you share, these people would prefer, these girls, for example, these boys, they will prefer to learn from you how to become, how you are becoming a creative director person, step by step, versus learning from me, telling them, oh, there's this book, there's the ADP list, because I'm not doing it, but you are walking the talk. So I cannot really compete with you, Miles, here. So it's just an idea. because if like it might change, but what you are doing is already amazing, and it's more than you getting a job. It's all those girls not stepping out of tech, not stepping out of design. So it's now it's not about me and you, it's about them now. So that's why I love open source and community. So anyway, back to this thing. So Jenkins. So let's say this guy from Poltava, this cousin of ours, or this girl from Brooklyn, they like design. Well, that's a bit tougher. I don't know much about design, but Jenkins, if you go here, you can they actually describe you how to contribute to design. And for example, like this guy from Poltava, right? He wants to be a designer. What he can do, he can go free idea, Mikola. He can go and he can find an author of this very picture, right? The one which says "Stop the War." So, and this guy can take an interview of the designer and put it on YouTube. Designers don't get like requests like this too often, so that's one idea. And the second idea is the Elasticsearch itself. So you don't even need to code, right? You just go to Elasticsearch and you write a tweet that you read README, maybe what it does, and that's already. Oh, what is that? That's interesting. So you read this stuff, and then you write an article or you write a tweet that Elasticsearch is actually open source, and they need help because there's 3,500 issues. You don't need to be a developer to write it. And now on your resume, you can put that you are well. The moment you fork it, you'll get a green square, right? And the moment you write about it, you can say that you're open Elasticsearch contributor. It's not exactly contributor, but it's very close. And if they ask you a question, you can say that, well, I'm writing about Elastic, I'm investigating it, I'm organizing people, I'm telling those boys and girls from Ukraine or other countries in the world that look, there are issues, there are different kinds of them, and then we can go from there. You don't need to even the issues like Bilal mentioned that. Those good first-time issues, but to be honest, just going through README, for example, they have building MD, right? Just building it locally, you can create so much content and learn so much. And maybe this doc is wrong. Maybe something doesn't work anymore. And there's so much to do. And as you start learning this project and writing about it, and so basically instead of just sending your resume left and right, you still will send it, but most of the time you'll spend on contributions to the projects which companies respect, like Elasticsearch, like, I don't know, any of them, like JUnit, whatever. But you'll choose the project which companies respect most. And then you'll come to this project, and then you become creative, like Miles is. Then you'll see what you, as Miles, can, what you can add to this project. And if you, for some reason, some stupid reason, if you think you can give nothing, then talk to me. And I will explain you why you are the person this project needs. And that's it. So I can see people are dropping from it, so maybe it's boring. Yeah, so I think I've been speaking for too long. Yeah. Anybody wants to, I suggest we maybe close. Let's have some questions.
No, sorry, you're not speaking. I want to argue. Don't speak it too long. It's like
okay.
I really great. Everything you're speaking very useful and like it's like a really.
Yes. So
like
by the way,
like a lesson, really.
Yeah, but by the way, Mikola, if anybody is up to, I think it will be right if a person from Ukraine makes an interview with designer who created this Stop the War thing on Jenkins. I think it will be a good content. And I think it will be good for design as well, like to give this. Maybe this person most probably created it for free, so it will be a good kudos. It's just an idea. So yeah, and Elastic, I would suggest go through README, see what it does, write a tweet. That's my approach these days. Whatever I do a tweet, okay? Because my idea is like it's a snowball. So I don't want Miles to go there and spend like 10 years and then she will come up with some beautiful and amazing system. because there's a chance she won't. There's a chance something will happen in the industry. Instead, I want Miles to be visible to the community. Miles, have you seen this movie called Hidden Figures?
I have.
It's a good. And it's one of the best movies actually. Yeah, it's one of the best. But when the rocket was flying, how many people in the States knew that there's black ladies in actually in awful conditions and who are delivering math and calculus? The rocket is white and it's shiny, but how many people knew that it's amazing black ladies who are doing bloody hard math to make it fly? They didn't. It's only now when they did the movie. So my motto is like hidden figures no more. So your story is amazing and everybody's story is amazing, right? If you think your story is not amazing, come to me. I will explain why you're wrong. And we'll fix it. I'm yet to meet a person who is not amazing. And this person will get a bag of stickers saying you're amazing. Now, I'm not joking. So let's say Miles learns something. Miles, is it okay if I use you for a second, your name for the sake of argument? Is it cool?
Sure, go for it.
So for example, a small thing like this mentors who are, sorry, not this one, she's amazing, but not her. Creative director mentors. The link I've added, right? So Miles knows now that she can go to ADP list and type in creative director as a mentor. And she will get a long list of mentors. How many are there? I don't know, maybe a few hundreds, who are creative directors, but Miles knows it. Maybe she didn't know it before the space. She knows it because she's here, which makes it's kind of privilege of being somewhere at certain moment in time. But now it's a content, so you can try it. You can actually write 2 tweets. First, you try it. First, you write about it that I'm going to try it. That Nikita is talking, but Nikita, some people are only good in talking. So zero trust. Let me try. Then you try it and then you let people know how it went. And that's already, if because of that one person tries ADP list and finds a mentor, that's already good enough. And for you, it will put you on the map even more than now. Let me check how many. I think you have quite a number of followers. Over 1,000, but it will put you even more on the map. So it's like open learning. If Mikola is like, instead of going to just always a few channel on Telegram and saying that does anybody want to interview a person who created this Jenkins for Ukraine thing, this guy, the picture with a flag, sorry, this one. If instead of that, Mikola first writes a tweet that I have an idea to find a volunteer who will interview the designer of Mr. Jenkins with the Ukrainian flag. And then Mikola goes and starts finding this, so people are aware. So that will show people that Mikola cares for this stuff. People who he probably didn't initially plan reaching. And it kind of creates a snowball. So people who care, they need to be aware of Mikola. So if they miss like that tweet of him, they won't miss another one. You see? And then Mikola, if I'll be using your name now for the sake of argument. Then Mikola, if at some point, let's say you picked up Elasticsearch and you tweet about it as it goes, right? And then if at some point you mess up and you focus on the wrong part of the project or something, by this time you'll have like few thousand friends, maybe 20,000 friends, who already like same stuff as you like. And these friends will tell you that, look, Mikola, Elasticsearch is cool no more. Or Elasticsearch doesn't lend you jobs in Ukraine anymore. So, but this other project does. So, can you try that one? And then it will save you a few years of your life, maybe, because it will be like an early warning for you to pick up something new, if it makes sense. So it's not only job market which defines what is right for you, and it's not only what you like. It's also what the community will tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It will help to grow the community in general. And just one small remark. I think you don't necessarily need to limit by a certain country. It's maybe very important if you really want to work in office. But nowadays, especially after COVID time, many people are working. If not, people are working can work remote. So maybe it's more important to search
Just
for
declare.
jobs which allow remote participation, remote type of work. So in this case, you can work for any country, any
Yeah,
company.
it's true. But
So which extends the list a lot. I would
but
say.
as long as there's no peace in Ukraine, my project will be called Open Source for Ukraine. Okay. So yeah.
In this case, yeah. It's
But
a good point. It's a good topic. You can try to find people who different types of
yeah.
engineers, like designers, developers, architects who are from Ukraine and
Yeah,
participating in this project.
it's just the name. I'm helping everybody, but the name of the project will be Open Source for Ukraine.
Yep.
We can create clones. It might change in the future, but not today. So what I did, I took Elasticsearch and I replaced the position with New Delhi, India. All right. And New Delhi, India, now it becomes interesting, because before that you were seeing like 16 people, right? But now why is it so little? I'm not buying it. It doesn't show too many candidates per one place. Yeah, this one, for example, lead DevOps engineer, right? 1 week ago, 242 applicants. That's LinkedIn only. And your cousin will be, let's say, a clone of your cousin, but in India. His soul brother or soul sister is applying to the job, and they're comparing the CVs. And now we have this Indian Institute of Technology, which is really cool. We have it versus a person whose life was not as easy. Well, it's bad. Life in Indian Institute of Technology is not easy. It's a very good institute. But somebody who was not privileged to enter, messed up exams, or parents cannot afford it or something. So we have 242 candidates for this position, and how will this person get in? But now, if this person is the Elasticsearch candidate, then now we only need to do two things. We need to bring value to the Elasticsearch. That's one thing. And the second thing, we need to make sure that this value is something community and companies need. And also we need to make sure that this value is visible. So if Miles, for example, runs 2 hackathon teams, that's what Yaroslava was doing. So we stepped out of the teams so we can manage few teams and we can help others to win prizes. Because without us, it's not happening that often. Anyway, so if Miles is doing that, I want her to be visible. She must be visible, because people must see that it's normal. It's normal to come to hackathon. It's not hard there. As long as you can turn on computer, you can participate in most hackathons. For example, in hackathons, they don't need networking up in most of them. In the end, it's a presentation. In the beginning and in the middle, it's like searching for information. It's like challenging ideas. None of this requires computer degree. Our project, which got 4th place, we didn't have a front-end developer, but we had a very good UI designer, and we had a very good back-end developer, and we had myself, who speaks a lot, and we have Yaroslavna, who has this experience with charities. So we put together an app which only had back-end, and it had front-end, this fake demo. We put it together and we said that, look, if there's money, this project can be created. And we got 4th place. Well, I still haven't got my prize, but it's okay. I didn't do it for money or whatever. So, yeah, something like this. That's why you need to be visible. So that's your main job. Community and people like Mikola, Miles, Akshay, Graham, Ramon. Last time I saw you in Prague. Hi, friend. I'll actually give you a co-host if I can. Ramon is amazing friend. Co-host. Oh, I can only do 2 co-hosts, but I'll invite you to speak because I can. Ola soy milk. That's funny. So, yeah, as long as you know the answer for your question, why do you want this open source? I'm not buying, like Mikola said, I want open source. That's not true. You want the rockets to be stopped flying. You want the milk to be bought by parents. You want somebody to get a job. You want somebody to be less stressed. You want somebody not to burn out, but you don't want open source as such. Open source stands for a license. You don't want a license to be in a project which only have a license. It's not big enough for you, Mikola. So as long as you keep challenging this why, with the help of community, why am I doing this open source project? Is it the best open source project for me to reach this goal? And you stay visible so community can help you, because most of the time people are not toxic. I've been doing it for half a year. I've met one toxic person, and I used my trick. It's unfair, but it works. I told this person, thank you. Next time I will do it better. And that's it. And I did better. Some of the points of this toxic person, they were actually correct. So, and that's it. So, Nicole, I don't know if it helps you, or my talking helps you to find. So that's one of the ways. So today I showed you how to find a project using LinkedIn, using the market demand. Find what the market needs most and what market cares most for you as open source contributor. So, and start doing that stuff. But with your own twist. You don't have to, like Bilal mentioned, the tickets. Sometimes they're not there. Don't let it limit you. Create something of it. Write about it. Do technical articles. Go there and fix stuff. For example, you can just go to the README and you can press E key, or there's a pencil on the top here in the screen on any file. You can press it and you can edit typos, fix typos as it right in the file, right in the browser. You don't need to check it out. So we can even search for typo, but this is a quality project. It's not easy to find. And these days I don't fix typos. I would rather go and raise a ticket with first time contributing, so people could benefit from it. So yeah, sorry friends, I will have to go because there's a friend waiting for me, so I have maybe 5 more minutes for questions. But my idea is that let's run this space weekly, but in different way. 1 week will be running at Kiev time, so friends of Kiev, India, Africa and Europe could attend. And another week I'll be running it more New York time, or maybe San Francisco. I don't know how I'll do it. Like, I won't sleep, but maybe it will be Saturday night. Then our friends in States will join because they're also amazing and they deserve it. So yeah, although some of them went too far and bought iPhones, but it's cool. We're still friends. I love you even though I cannot afford iPhone. But yeah. Yes, yeah, something like this. And so the next time we meet, we'll be talking about this. 1 second. That's good while we have files. We'll be talking about to have a talk to discuss types of activities and reason why we need open source. And we'll discuss that. And with diverse crowd we have. It's called wisdom of the crowd, I think. Basically, there are situations when single individual is better than a crowd. They happen. Like genius person, I don't know, does something genius, very diverse from everybody else. But most of the time, you don't need to be genius. You just need to be different a little bit and bring something new, or take something new what you learned and transfer it. Just write about it. So my challenge for everybody in the space: go to the Twitter now or after the space and write one thing you liked or hated about the space today. Just one thing. One thing you learned or one thing you hated. And just tweet about it. And that's enough. And then we'll fix everything else in small steps. Questions?
I want to real quick. First of all, thank you for great presentation, and it's really very not just like discussing some topic. It's really like provoking to think, and as I feel like sometimes one sentence it's like can be a summary or subject of the whole next meeting. So I think it's really great. Thank you.
Yeah. How do you say it? Sorry, my Ukrainian is not that good, but you're welcome. Дуже приємно. Дуже. Дякую. Дякую за підтримку. So, we'll make it even more about you. Just write a tweet, anything you want. Can be about this space, can be about something else. Anything you want to share, anything you learned new today, just it can be about this space. So yeah, anybody else wants to speak? I'll count to. I'll wait for like 20 seconds, and if nobody's speaking, then we'll close it for this time. And then I will plan it. I'll need to think of times. I think we'll do San Francisco, Kiev, and maybe later we'll move when there is more people. Then we'll see how it goes. It will be what community wants. Maybe we'll need New York, San Francisco. Maybe it will be Kiev and Hong Kong. Maybe it will be all four. I don't know. New Delhi, of course. I'm coming there one day, friends, when I can afford this stuff. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, it looks like everybody is shy, and or maybe tired, and it's true. That I was watching the YouTube video today about concentration, and 2 hours it's not realistic for people to concentrate. So I'll call it a day. We will call it a day, and I wish you a very pleasant reminder of Sunday, or beginning of your Monday, or early morning in States. Not very early, but go and get your coffee. For me, I like coffee. And that's it. And I'll take my friend now, who is actually also from Ukraine, and I'll go. I want to show her some nice place around the city. It's night now, and there's a nice hill there, and you can see all the city from it. So we'll just drive there. So, yeah. Okay, friends. Thank you for coming, and talk to you later. Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye. This was good. Now I need to stop this thing. Oh, for God's sake. This thing, OBS, and we can do stop streaming. We can see memory.